Anyway, dude, let's jump on to what we're here to talk about tonight. Alleviating stress, anxiety, and optimizing brain fog using one simple hack from Coach Harry Youre. So, Harry, tell us, whereabouts should we start with this?
Whereabouts we start? Well, first of all, obviously, on top of what you mentioned there, guys that have trouble making fast, efficient decisions, and guys that have trouble switching off as well, I think this is going to be massively beneficial for. So, like, where this trick comes in handy, I guess, if you find yourself making poor decisions, getting triggered easily, if you have a low threshold to stress, or you're having issues getting to sleep or problem solving, this is going to be really beneficial in bringing you down a notch. So one thing that I was speaking to Josh about this the other day, and for, high performers, guys that want to get more out of their day, be more efficient, things like that, I think we need to be up, right? That's why so many guys take so many nootropics or stimulants and things like that, because they want to go up. But from my experience, and a lot of the guys I talk to, the higher you go, the finer knife's edge you kind of balance in terms of your bandwidth in dealing with change, right? If everything goes smoothly, then sure, you can nail out the job at hand, no issues. But if there's that smallest little inconvenience, you sit down to do work, shit, forgot to charge my laptop overnight. And that little change in routine, change in plan can sometimes be the difference that derails you. Sends you off at a tangent, you want to flip the desk upside down, and you get really frustrated because you're out of the zone, right? Whereas if you're coming from a place of neutrality, a bit calmer, more focused energy, you're not so up, you're up enough that you're focused and motivated, but you're not jittery and ready to go, then you've got a lot more bandwidth for change and for dealing with situations, right?
100%. So, well, the other thing too that I always find is like, if you're super wound up and you're go, and you've smashed 4 coffees in the day, you never sleep well at night. I don't know a single person who sleeps well like that. And I think one of the most underrated things about and under talked about things when it comes to stress, when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to brain function optimization, all the stuff that we're looking for as high performance men, one of the most underrated things is the importance of sleep. Because we just run that nervous system fucking ragged until we just got caught. We're just living bubbles of cortisol and adrenaline. It's crap. And life isn't very fun. Everything gets worse. We always get more stressed. We always get more anxious, leads to depression, leads to reduced performance. So this simple hack we're going to go through, can you run us through like exactly how it works and what we're going to do?
So simple as we do this every moment of every single day, it's just breathe. Right? Super simple.
We do it, but not very well.
Not very well. So you see the memes of all these like new little life hacks and stuff like that, and you have people comment like, "Oh, I think I'm breathing wrong at this point." Ha ha ha. Well, chances are you're probably not far from the truth in terms of doing it most effectively. So, people that have looked into Wim Hof and things like that have, figured out that you can, by changing, your inhale versus your exhale, you can kind of alter your state, right? So when you inhale, you have a sharp, your sympathetic nervous system gives you a sharp spike, which increases your heart rate. And then on the exhale, you have the parasympathetic nervous system kind of, chimes in and then decelerates your heart rate. So keeping that in mind, when you inhale, it goes up. When you exhale, it goes down. It makes it super easy to then be able to use that as a tool to alter your state. So if you're stressed and strung out and you need to come down, so exhale is down. Cool. Let's exhale more. So if you extend your exhale and shorten your inhale, then it's going to help you to calm down. So, in terms of what that looks like.
Like, what does the average person do wrong with breathing? And I know it sounds so stupid, like we breathe wrong, but it's actually an absolute game changer when you're breathing wrong to right. So what does poor breathing look like in terms of maintaining low levels of stress, low levels of anxiety, and awesome sleep?
If you want to ensure that you have high stress, that you can't breathe properly, that you can't sleep properly, all that kind of stuff, block your nose, breathe through your mouth, and breathe only into your chest. And I can guarantee your anxiety will go through the roof, your heart rate variability will go through the floor, and your sleep will turn to shit.
Speaking of, do we have any takers for that? Does anybody want to test us on this? And is anybody willing to block their nose for just a couple of days and breathe purely through their mouth and see how fucking terrible you feel? Please let us know in the comments if you're willing to do it.
If anyone is sitting there eating dinner as you're watching this, block your nose while you try and eat and see how much fun you have.
Should we do it? Someone said, yes, I'll do this. Hang on, I've just got to get up my phone so I can see who it is because it's not showing me your name. Who's saying that? Nashi said, yes, you'll do this. Nashi, are you sure? Are you sure you want to block your nose and breathe through it? If you want to do it for 2 days and you do it nonstop for 2 days and you document it, I'll fling you $250, right? If you just block your nose and you breathe purely through your mouth and you report in on us, like how it's going, and you keep it blocked, honor agreement, right? You do it and you do that for 2 days and you just purely breathe through your mouth and let us know how shit you feel. $250 easy. If you're in for that, bro, you're in for that. But it's not going to be a fun ride. So yeah, go on, Harry. Why is breathing through your mouth going to be so shit?
Because plain and simple, we're not meant to breathe through our mouth. Our mouth is meant to eat and meant to talk. We're meant to breathe through our nose. Like our nose has all the filters that filter all the gunk out of the air so our lungs get the good stuff, right? We can absorb more oxygen by breathing through our nose. And generally when we breathe through our nose, it makes it a lot easier to breathe into our diaphragm, which activates our parasympathetic nervous system, helps us to relax, digest food properly because we're not in a state of stress and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like you can do, as we just pointed out, you can do this as a simple example. Just see how you feel. If you're not sure that there is a difference, find the difference between, breathe for just 2 minutes. First of all, block your nose, breathe just through your mouth, then do it through your nose, then breathe only into your chest, and then breathe only into your belly, into your diaphragm. And you can personally feel the difference in each one, and it becomes really noticeable when you do it like that.
It's a total game changer when you shift it from mouth breathing. And even at sleep, like one of the things that I found really interesting is I started taping my mouth. And so I started taping my mouth when I sleep so that I can only breathe through my nose. All of my sleep scores immediately went up. My heart rate variability, like everything went up. Every single sleep and recovery score got better when I started taping my mouth and just simply breathing through my nose and shifting it that way. So the first things we got is the big mistake is number one, just breathing through your mouth. And the big shift we need to make there is we need to breathe through our nose and we need to have longer exhales, which is in turn going to allow us to have more parasympathetic time. It's going to reduce our heart rate, reduce adrenaline, reduce cortisol. Is there anything else that we should be looking to do when we're breathing?
When we want to relax and bring ourselves down, ideally, we want to breathe into our diaphragm as well. Breathe deep into our belly. So if anyone's either had or seen someone have an anxiety attack, they're very much shallow into their chest.
Has anyone on here, by the way, has anyone ever had an anxiety attack who's on here? And does anyone know what we're talking about when you're going and doing those really short, sharp breaths? Let us know in the comments. Sorry, go on, Harry.
Yeah. And, I've experienced a couple of those myself, and it's not a fun time. But if you can catch yourself out in terms of what you're doing subconsciously in breathing into your chest, then you can redirect it into your stomach to activate your parasympathetic nervous system and just chill yourself out, right? And then if you can couple that with either timed breathing, either, something as simple as, say, box breathing or, extending the exhales, then that's massively going to improve your parasympathetic response and help you to chill out and, be able to make better decisions, improve your heart rate variability, and especially if you're doing it at night, help you to calm down and actually drift off to sleep without having so much stress running through your body too.
Game changer. And Nick Messina has actually just asked a really cool question, which is, what is the best way to breathe when you're running?
When you're running?
Yeah.
Interesting question, man. So from my experience and like the athletes that I've kind of worked with, it's best to, like, when you get up to max effort, then yes, you're going to have to breathe through your mouth. Like you're going to need all hands on deck to get as much oxygen into your system as you can. But the more that you can breathe through your nose and regulate your breath work, then the easier it's going to be, especially if you're working on, your fitness and endurance and things like that. because you want to be able to stay
one thing
consistent
I
in your
found
rhythm.
on that as well, the rhythm is like absolutely massive. And one thing, and I was reading Breath by James Nest, a brilliant book. And one of the things that they recommended was extended exhales as you're running. So try and breathe, as you said, as much through your mouth, through your nose as possible, as little through your mouth. Breathe out through your nose or your mouth, doesn't really matter. But extend it, like extend that exhale for 2 or 3 times as long as your inhale and see how you go. It's really, really uncomfortable and really, really hard. But a lot of the studies have shown that you'll actually get increased output. You'll be far faster, you'll be far stronger, and you'll be but much better off when it comes to like running or exercising if you have that extended output. One of the things that we get in sport is like an adrenaline dump where you're performing at a really, really high level and then all of a sudden you hit a wall and you're fucked, right? And you're just done. Doing this is meant to prolong that so that you don't get as much adrenaline surging, so that you don't have loads of energy, then nothing. Does that make sense? I hope that answers your question, Nick. We've had another one as well from Brendan. Brendan Light. My man, hope you've been well, dude. Brendan just asked, do you naturally exhale through your nose or mouth? I'm a mouth breather, but have recently had nose surgery to fix it, so now I want to breathe through my nose. Yeah, Harry, what do you naturally exhale through?
Naturally, I exhale through my mouth. Like I'll breathe in through my nose and then out through my mouth when I'm consciously breathing. But if I make an effort to, similar to what you do, James, in terms of like taping your mouth. If I'm just sitting at my desk and I'm not on calls or anything like that, I'll keep my mouth closed for as long as possible to train my body to naturally breathe through my nose. So I eventually don't even have to put any conscious thought into it.
It's a game changer when you get to the stage where you have to think. So, Brendan, I'm the opposite. I'm always breathing through my nose unless I'm consciously breathing through my mouth. And the reason why that is because of taping my mouth. And since I've started taping my mouth, like I now naturally just want to breathe through my nose. And it's a game changer. It's like, it's phenomenal, man. I'm sure it'll help you. One little caveat as well, one thing that we should just touch on quickly when it comes to mouth breathing, taping your mouth to stop mouth breathing. If you do have sleep apnea or you have some sort of obstructive disorder or something like that, there is evidence to say that this will help you. But as always, you got to make sure you go through your doc. I don't know, it's boring. I know it's a disclaimer and all that sort of shit, but like you've always got to do it because it's better safe than sorry. Clinton's now asked, best way to breathe to get that natural DMT. Hey, have you got any hints? Suck a bomb with DMT.
I've actually seen plenty of YouTube videos on how to elicit that state. I think there's a few ones out there, but you'll have to check those videos out, man. I'm not too versed on the precise breathing rhythms to elicit that kind of a state.
So, Clinton, if you want to learn how to release natural DMT, we actually do that at something called the Man Weekend, where we get a bunch of awesome dudes to come along and we just do a weekend of awesome shit. It's all about helping guys take themselves to the next level and absolutely crush life, we get them pushing physical, emotional, and psychological barriers. So if you want in on that and you want to learn about how we do it and how we get guys to go to that next level, just let us know. And that's not just open to Clinton, that's open to anybody. Comment below if you want in. I mean, we're going to have Nashi there, Mick Liston's coming as well. We've got a number of guys who are on this feed like right now who are going to be there. So if you want to join us, if you want to learn more about it, just let us know. Now, Mick also asked another thing. Is one thing I've noticed since kicking gluten and dairy was less blocked nasal cavities and easier to breathe. Harry, why do you suppose that may be?
I'd suggest it kind of comes down to just inflammation. Like the less junk your body has to deal with, both coming in terms of foods and liquids, plus also like breathing and stuff like that, then the less mucus and gunk it has to expel and has to deal with, right?
Totally. And one of the biggest things I notice with it, particularly with a lot of guys when it comes to dairy, is gluten as well. They often get inflammation throughout the sinuses. And I was talking with a great guy called Perry Nicholson just recently on the podcast. If you haven't been onto our podcast, I'm actually going to get the link up now and I'll post it in there. But pretty much we go through and we chat on a lot of these things. And one of the key issues that a lot of people have is, I'll just drop the podcast link in here. And we're talking about one of the issues that the body has is that it's constantly having to detoxify and get rid of shit. And one thing that we do a really bad job of is, as our body's trying to get rid of shit, we're constantly putting more shit in. And when I'm talking about shit, I'm talking about things which the body has to work hard to get rid of, to process, to eliminate. And gluten and dairy are two things which put a significant amount of load on our immune system or our lymphatic system. And our lymphatic system, when it's not working, we often get congested and blocked up, and all of our lymph nodes all of our lymphatic system starts to get a little bit haywire. I'll put it to you that way. So if you can reduce the things which are causing issues for you, things will get much nicer. That's why a lot of guys come to us and start working with us, and then notice that they no longer have hay fever. They no longer have allergies. And then all of a sudden, like, everything's getting better because we're actively taking away the things which are causing the immune response. And then it's allowing them to get better. That's why I've had loads of guys with autoimmune conditions, get dramatically better. Anxiety gets a lot better as well, because once again, we're removing stresses within the body. It's a real game changer for that. We had someone here say
everything though, right? Like, if you want to get better at anything, the easiest and the first step should always be stop doing the stuff that's slowing you down and stop doing the stuff that's making you worse, and then do the extra stuff that's going to make you better, right?
So what are the key things that you see that people do which makes them worse?
In terms of those, like the breath work, just those things, breathing through their mouth, breathing into their chest, and just not being conscious of those markers as well.
And then expanding beyond breath work, like outside of that, what would you say is the biggest mistakes people make regularly?
Biggest mistakes people make regularly, I guess, is treating when they're trying to get better at anything. So, for example, like when you're treating sinuses or like autoimmune disease, things like that, people like to treat the symptom rather than looking at the root cause. Like a super easy example is drink a lot of coffee, right? People wake up in the morning, they're tired, they're lethargic, they got brain fog, they have trouble orientating themselves, making proper decisions, things like that. And like, oh, I'm tired. I need nootropics. I need coffee. I need pre-workout stimulants, like really whatever it is to focus and get the day going. But instead of actually looking, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why do I feel lethargic? Why do I feel tired? Why can't I think straight? Things like that. And then you can work that back. Okay, what's your sleep like? What's your stress like? What's your nervous system like? And then you look at those things, and then miraculously everything else kind of lines up, because you're no longer doing things that are detrimental to what you want to achieve. Right?
Totally.
And then because when you get caught in that cycle, what goes up must come down. And then so most people, you either reach for more caffeine or stimulants, more sugar or cravings, things like that, to pick themselves back up. So they ride that high all day, and then they crash at the end of the night. But then because they crash because they're purely exhausted, and that's how they're able to get to sleep. But because they haven't dealt with any of the stress earlier in the day, that resurfaces itself at, like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning with the adrenaline and the cortisol spike there, wakes them up. Oh, why am I awake? I had no issues getting to sleep. And then, the cycle kind of viciously repeats itself, and then
continues going.
Yeah. And to break that cycle, you're going to have to cut those stimulants, that caffeine, like all that stuff that picks you up. And yeah, you're going to feel like dog shit for a couple of days, until you can get consistent with that sleep and do the things that are going to help you rather than do the things that are keeping you stuck in that bad cycle.
So moving on from that and extending on, Mix just asked, what mistakes have you seen made around digestive health?
Around digestive health. Well, first of all, like gluten and dairy are the big ones. Being stressed all the time, as we know, like for anyone that hasn't seen what we talk about in terms of stress, like when you are stressed, all your body's resources, like mainly blood and things like that, leave your digestive tract. They go to your extremities, into your fight or flight response. So digestion, reproduction, like hormones, all that kind of stuff gets put on the back burner. So if you are stressed...
By the way, speaking on that, if you haven't seen our stress course, just comment stress below. We've got a full course on how to alleviate stress, totally free. So just comment stress below if you want access to that. Sorry, keep going on.
That'll help everyone. If you guys haven't seen that before, check that out. And I guarantee you, if you don't need it, someone will need that. Especially if it's a partner, it'll make your life a hell of a lot easier. So go and check that one out. But stress is a massive one. Like the amount of people that I have seen improve their digestive symptoms and digestive health just by getting more sleep, just by stressing less, has been amazing. And obviously with digestion, most people think, oh, I'm bloated, I'm gassy, I'm this, I'm that. It must be the foods I'm eating. right? So they go on, maybe a low FODMAP diet. They go see a naturopath or someone else and like all this kind of stuff, and doesn't really help anything because they're still slamming down, crazy amounts of caffeine. They're still working crazy hours, getting shit out of sleep and stuff like that. So nothing helps because you're not treating the issue. You're treating what you think is the symptom.
Totally. I 100% agree with you, man. I think, the funniest thing, bro, we see this all the time. Someone's got gut issues, right? As you said, they're super stressed. They're not sleeping well. There's all these nervous system issues going on. And they go and take a fucking supplement, right? Some guru points them into taking a supplement to fix their gut, which changes their gut flora and their gut fauna. It's really gut fauna. It changes the way that their digestive system is. They start trying to use laxatives, all these things. And we get a lot of poor buggers. I was one of these back in the day. You get pointed in all these directions. I spent thousands taking rifaximin, taking antimicrobials, going and doing like all these gut detoxes and things like that, elemental diets, fasting, all this shit. And I spent all this time, all this money, all this effort and got precisely fuck all results. Cinnamon donuts, that's how many got, nothing, right? And because the people who were guiding me, or should I say misguiding me, were telling me to target the gut. The gut is perfectly fine at regulating itself. It's only the nervous system that screws it up. Never, ever, ever touch the gut. You don't need to. It's fine. I shouldn't say never, ever, ever, but unless there's something very fucking dire going on, there's a medical issue which needs to be like worked on, and it's shown that it's a medical issue, right? I'm not going to go into the depths of that, but making it so that you do not focus on the gut, focus on stress, focus on breathing, as Harry said. Implement everything that Harry has said tonight. Go look at the stress course, comment stress if you don't have that. Fix that, because when you fix the nervous system, you fix that. No, actually, you know what, Harry, before we go, we should go on to this. How is it that the nervous system regulates the gut?
Through so many different factors, man. So like obviously we've got the enteric system, so it kind of connects everything. We've got the vagus nerve that connects like the brain, like your nervous system, and to a lot of your organs and things like that, which help regulate, whether you should be stressed, so your heart beating, so releasing cortisol, things like that. Like I know we kind of talk about reducing and minimizing that a lot, but keep in mind, everyone, it does have a purpose. It does have a place in a functioning body. It's the same as anxiety. It's there for a reason. People just that have, chronic levels of anxiety, they just have an overprotective brain. Unfortunately, it just, fires a little too often than is needed. But the correspondence with your gut and your brain actually coordinates so many of your autonomic nervous systems, like regulations, like in terms of, as we said before, whether you want to be stressed or relaxed and things like that. So, we use the digestive system to help with a lot of that stuff, right? Like how many clients have you seen, man, like in all your years of doing this, that haven't benefited digestively from attacking the nervous system?
None. Precisely zero. It has never, ever happened. Because, if we look at the way that it works, the whole function around the whole function around the digestive system, the enteric system, is regulated by the nervous system. If your nervous system functions well, you're going to be good. They've shown in fucking everything. And this is why I harp on about it. And it's funny, finally, after we've been talking about this for I don't know, how many years have we been talking about this for? 5, 7, 8 years, something like that. Finally, People are starting to do it. They've shown that cancer is caused by stress. Heart disease is caused by stress, not fucking salt, right? It's all these things are caused by stress. We've often been blaming all this other stuff, but in the end of the day, number one is stress. So yeah, guys, I hope that this has helped you out. We'll wrap it up here. Now, before we go, if you have any topics that you want Harry and I to cover next week, we're going to be doing this every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. Brisbane time, 7 p.m. Sydney time. What's that put it at? 4 p.m. WA time? That's about right. Yeah, 4 p.m. WA time. If any of you guys want us to cover a certain topic, comment it in here and we can put it onto our topic list, okay? And we'll make sure that we give you guys as much help as we always do. If you haven't got access to the stress course, comment stress below. Thanks for coming on, bro. It was good to have you on here again.
A pleasure, man. Looking forward to next week. It's been fun.
Legendary, dude. I'll see you then.
Easy. Take care, brother.
Thanks, guys. Bye. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got something out of it and you want to learn more, click the link below or type in High Performance Conversations with James Cant and you'll be able to check out all the podcasts that we've done. We cover a stack of different topics, everything from getting your mojo back, overcoming anxiety, self-doubt, self-esteem, and learning from some of the industries and some of the world's top performers in both business and in health. Look forward to having you on there.